For thousands of years, humanity has accepted a simple, linear narrative of progress, a neatly packaged timeline that presents civilization as a relatively recent phenomenon. We are told that around 6,000 years ago, in the fertile lands of Mesopotamia, early humans took their first great leap forward. From small bands of nomadic hunter-gatherers, they supposedly transitioned into settled farmers, builders, and rulers, laying the foundation for the grand civilizations we now study in textbooks. This version of history paints a picture of slow but steady advancement. First, early humans are said to have discovered fire, giving them warmth, protection, and the ability to cook food. Then came the invention of the wheel, a revolutionary tool that enabled transport and trade. Over time, primitive villages evolved into sprawling cities, and isolated tribes transformed into mighty empires. From the Sumerians to the Egyptians, from the Indus Valley to the ancient Chinese dynasties, we are taught that each step of human progress was logical, sequential, and entirely self-generated. But what if this story is incomplete? Were crucial details conveniently left out because they could not be explained? What if everything we've been taught is not just flawed, but deliberately manipulated? Could it be that the history in our textbooks is nothing more than a carefully controlled narrative, a narrative that purposefully suppresses knowledge of something far older and far more profound? Across the world, ancient myths and legends tell a different tale than the textbooks we read and the lectures we attend. These stories, completely dismissed as folklore by modern scholars, hint at a forgotten past. A past where humanity was guided, not by its own ingenuity, but by knowledge handed down from beings that were not of this earth. Consider the sky gods of ancient Egypt, the mysterious Viracocha of the Andes, the celestial serpents of Mesoamerican lore, or the Anunnaki of Sumerian texts. Why do so many ancient civilizations, separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years, share eerily similar myths of deities? Deities who descended from the heavens to instruct and enlighten mankind. Why do these cultures repeatedly depict celestial visitors, often humanoid in form and possessing extraordinary knowledge, as bestowing gifts of science, architecture, and agriculture upon humanity? The more we investigate, the more we see the undeniable patterns connecting these seemingly unrelated cultures. From the towering pyramids of Egypt to the enigmatic Nazca lines carved into the deserts of Peru, from the forgotten jungles of Central America to the wind-swept ruins of Turkey, the evidence suggests a much more complex history. Our past has been buried, both literally and figuratively, by those who wish to keep the truth hidden. Mainstream historians conveniently dismiss these connections as coincidences, while offering explanations that strain credibility. We are told that ancient people, despite living on opposite sides of the world, just happened to construct identically aligned pyramidal structures. We are told that early civilizations, despite lacking advanced tools, managed to carve and transport 100-ton megalithic stones with little more than wooden rollers and sheer manpower. We are told that hunter-gatherers, with no written language and no metallurgy, erected massive temples with precisely cut stones, thousands of years before civilization was supposed to exist. But is this truly the case? Or is there something they don't want us to know? We stand at the edge of a hidden history, one that challenges everything we have been led to believe. If we dare to question the official timeline, we find ourselves staring into an abyss of mysteries that academia refuses to acknowledge. Who built these impossible structures? How did they acquire their advanced knowledge? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, what happened to them? Did an ancient, highly advanced civilization exist long before recorded history? Were they wiped out by a global catastrophe, leaving only traces of their existence in the myths and legends of later cultures? And if such a civilization did exist, who or what guided them, and why? The answers may lie buried beneath the sands of forgotten temples, hidden in the symbols carved onto ancient stones, or even encoded within the very DNA of humanity itself. But to uncover the truth, we must be willing to rethink everything we have been told about our past. Unfortunately, so many in academia refuse to consider these possibilities. What if our history is not just missing pieces, but has been deliberately erased? And more importantly, who exactly benefits from keeping it that way? For centuries, historians and archaeologists have pieced together humanity's past using fragmented relics and texts. The standard narrative claims that humans spent tens of thousands of years in a primitive, prehistoric state, before miraculously discovering agriculture and civilization almost overnight. But does this truly make sense? How could primitive hunter-gatherers who supposedly lacked sophisticated tools and written language suddenly develop an understanding of engineering, astronomy, and governance on a grand scale? Ancient civilizations were far more advanced than mainstream history suggests. The Sumerians, for example, had knowledge of celestial mechanics, tracking the movements of planets with uncanny accuracy. The Great Pyramid's mathematical proportions encode pi, phi, and the speed of light, concepts supposedly unknown to its builders. The Mayans developed an astoundingly precise calendar, even more accurate than the one we use today. Yet we are told they did this without external guidance, without advanced tools, and without a foundation of earlier knowledge. If these civilizations were as isolated and primitive as we are led to believe, then how did they achieve such staggering advancements? And how exactly did they pull this off almost overnight? Could it be that they inherited this knowledge from an earlier, more advanced civilization, one that was lost to time? Throughout history and nearly every civilization, the ruling elite have controlled information. From the destruction of the Library of Alexandria to the burning of ancient texts by colonial empires, critical knowledge has been systematically erased. Why? Perhaps it's because knowledge is power, and if the truth of humanity's past were revealed, it would upend the carefully constructed illusion of modern civilization. Governments, religious institutions, and academic gatekeepers have all played a role in suppressing inconvenient truths. Evidence that contradicts the accepted timeline is almost always dismissed, ridiculed, or ignored. Alternative researchers, whistleblowers, and independent scholars are often ostracized for daring to question the established narrative. But despite these efforts, the truth is resurfacing. Ancient structures, mysterious artifacts, and encoded texts continue to defy conventional explanations. What are they hiding, and why is it so important to keep the truth from reaching the masses? If there were advanced civilizations that predated recorded history, what does that mean for us today? Could remnants of their knowledge still exist? What is hidden in sacred texts that we have yet to translate? What information is encoded in religious symbolism or buried beneath layers of earth that would benefit us greatly today? More importantly, if these civilizations vanish due to some great catastrophe, is it possible that the same fate could await us? Understanding our true past is not just an intellectual exercise, it is essential for shaping our future. If we continue to accept a sanitized version of history, we risk repeating the mistakes of those who came before us. But if we uncover the real story of our origins, we may finally reclaim the lost knowledge that has been kept from us for millennia. History is more than what we have been told. It is a mystery waiting to be unraveled. Are you ready to uncover the truth? What are your thoughts? Do you think parts of our history have been purposefully hidden from us? If so, why? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this one.